Well, hey there. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome back to the channel here for Open Mic. Open Mic is kind of just like the show, except all we do is take your questions and the questions you guys are sending in. And there's two ways to get a question on Open Mic. Number one is by using the tip link that you can send in questions anytime at streamelements.com/John Campea/tip. That's the link where you can send in a question anytime, 24/7, 2 o'clock in the morning, and a question goes through your head that you want on the show. Go ahead and send into that tip link, and we'll read it on the John Campea Show or here on Open Mic. Now, the second way is once we go through a bunch of the questions and we get through the open or the tip link questions, we will go over and take your live questions if you're watching live using the super chats. And the super chats are currently open. I'll leave them open for a little while and then we'll address those. And it's good to see everybody here. Everybody's able to see and hear me okay, I trust. By the way, one of our members is asking that they heard James Gunn has cast Logan Lerman to be the next Superman. 100% false. It is 100% false. That is not true in the least. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. All right. A lot of stuff went on today. I mean, let's just talk about this for a second, if you don't mind. The whole Rian Johnson thing finally came to a head. Now, look, you guys know I've been saying for what I feel like has been like 2 years, I think, that Rian Johnson trilogy was never going to happen, right? You guys have been watching the show. You know, I've been saying for a long time, I don't think that, and many of you have been saying that as well, that Rian Johnson thing was never going to happen. And finally today, they confirmed that project is off the books. That they may want to work with Rian Johnson again sometime in the future. I doubt that'll happen either. But the project that they were talking about, that trilogy of things, is now gone. It's off the books. Now they're saying, if you guys watched the show this morning, that the Taika Waititi movie could still happen. But it's just kind of funny how the Taika Waititi movie went from it's our next film. Just a couple of months ago, Kathleen Kennedy was saying it's our next film, to saying today that it'll happen one day. That's kind of the same thing that they said about the Rian Johnson thing for a long time. Oh yeah, it's still going to happen. It's just that Ryan's busy now. Well, really, the project was canceled. They just didn't want to say it right away. They wanted to wait until enough time had passed that they could say, yeah, that project's done, and not have a lot of blowback or pushback on it. And I think the Taika Waititi movie is done. Again, no one's told me that. This is just me speculating as a fan. I could be 1,000% wrong, but I have a feeling that the Taika Waititi movie is not going to happen. Like when your studio head says, oh, it could happen one day. That's kind of code for, oh yeah, it ain't ever going to happen. It ain't never going to happen. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope it does. I love Taika Waititi as a filmmaker. Like regardless of Thor, Love and Thunder, I think he's made some terrific, amazing films and he's done great stuff in the world of Star Wars as well. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see, guys. We'll see. All right. With that down, guys, let's jump into the questions that you guys have. We got to get picked up here with some of the questions we didn't get around to on the John Campea Show here this morning. So let's get things started here with, where are we at? I got my screen all messed up. Give me a second while I get this fixed. There we go. That's better, right? Yeah, that's better. I don't think it's perfect, but it's better. Okay. David Crabtree writes, watching season 3 of Mandalorian, could it be that Favreau has been stuck to this property as a writer/creative head for too long without a creative break? Since 2019, he's written 24 episodes of Mando, 7 of Boba Fett, with no other projects in between. It's possible. I mean, like, honestly, right now, look, I don't want to come across like I straight up don't like this season of Mandalorian. I'm not saying that. I think Mandalorian has had some really, really good moments in season 3, like really good moments, but it's also had some garbage, right? It's had some absolute garbage this season 2. It is my least favorite season of Mandalorian so far. I'm still enjoying it though. Like I'm still enjoying it, but yeah, the quality's dropped. The viewership has dropped. That whole, I mean, I kid you not, I don't want to harp on it too much, but seriously, your big plot turn comes on finding a business card to a robot bar on the dead body of a battle droid. That was the clue that broke the case. I mean, that was some straight up nonsense, my brothers and sisters in film fandom. That was some straight up nonsense. But it is what it is. Maybe, I often talk about in the realm of movies, I like a director to break away from a franchise once in a while just to keep their creative gears going and to sharpen their creative knives. And when one director is on one property for too long without like doing other things, it can become stale. And I don't know, maybe that's what's happened here with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Maybe. I don't know. It's a possibility. But listen, who knows? They might kill the final 2 episodes of Mandalorian season 3. Like they just might slay it, right? And then Ahsoka comes out and it's magnificent and then all will be right in the world again. But yeah, right now it's getting a little bit stale. All right. Guzman writes, stolen tweet, but I had to ask you, as you're the Italian ambassador, is the Super Mario Brothers movie the Italians' Black Panther? No, it is certainly not. If that movie was the Italians' Black Panther, then the Italians need more representation. We Italians need a lot more representation in the movies. I mean, it wasn't even an Italian playing him. And not that I needed an Italian actor to voice Mario. I didn't need an Italian actor to do that. That's fine. But yeah, it's I wouldn't exactly say that the Mario Brothers is a representation of Italian culture. I'll just say that. All right. Next up, Alan Renshaw writes, with the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie, how long do you think it will be before we get an announcement that a sequel / Donkey Kong / Yoshi / Metroid / Zelda movie is in development? Nobody probably thought it would do this well opening weekend. Oh, I don't know. There's been somebody for the past month and a half saying I thought it would be the biggest movie of the year. Now, I walked back the biggest movie of the year part. Like now I think that Fast 10, Indiana Jones, one of those movies might be the number 1 film of the year now. But I told you this movie was going to kill, right? I told you this movie was going to kill. And for a month and a half before I saw it, I thought it was going to be the number 1 film of the year, period. I don't think that anymore, but it's going to be, when it's all said and done, it's going to be massive. Like absolutely massive. Warlocks in the live chat is saying the vast majority knew Mario would be a hit. No. That's 2020. That's 2020. Hindsight is 2020 talking. Because whenever I would bring up, and you guys who watch the show, you guys are witnesses to this. You've seen it. Whenever I would bring up on the show over the past month and a half, 2 months, and saying, I think Mario Brothers is going to be the number 1 film of the year. How many times did I get shouted down? How many times did I get shouted down in the comment section, in the live chat, stuff like that? John, you're way overestimating how good Mario can do. Mario, nobody cares about Mario. Mario's a 40-year-old video game, blah, 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 blah. And now that it's a big hit, people are saying, oh, well, everybody knew it was going to be a big hit. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, it might be easy for you to forget what everybody was saying when you're not the one everybody's saying it to. Like I would say, hey, I think Mario Brothers is going to be the biggest film of the year. And everybody, John doesn't know anything. You've lost all credibility. You don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but hey, I now agree. I walked back that I thought it was going to be the biggest film of the year because I just don't think, even though I really enjoyed the film, I had a great time watching it, it's not as good as I was hoping it would be. The stories, even the people who love it the most admit that the story's kind of weak and whatever. I don't think it's going to have, the 5, 6, 7 time repeat viewing things that I maybe initially thought it had the potential of doing, but it's going to be big, man. Hasn't even opened in Japan yet. This movie's going to be huge. As far as spinoffs, things like Donkey Kong, Metroid, Yoshi, none of these are big enough on their own to replicate what Mario did. Zelda, however, on the other hand, very well could be. And I expect, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say by the end of October, we will get a Zelda movie announcement. That might even be going too late. It might even be earlier than that, but I'm going to guess that by October, we are going to get a Zelda movie announcement. I think there were whispers of them developing it. We got the new Zelda game that's coming out. I think we're going to get an announcement here pretty quick, Alan. We'll find out. All right. Next up, Murray Reich writes, Saw the new movie Air, and it was probably, in my opinion, the best film of the year so far. Matt Damon stole the show. Great performances also by Jason Bateman, Ben Affleck, and Viola Davis. Was so great to see Chris Tucker back in the movie, and he was funny. Great story. Listen, Ann and I decided to go away for the weekend, so I didn't have a chance to go see Air yet, and I'm a big Ben Affleck guy, so that is really burning me. I want to watch this movie really bad. Everybody I've heard from so far loves it, and most people I'm talking to who have seen the new Ben Affleck directed film Air are saying exactly what you just said, Murray. They're saying it's the best film of the year. Even my buddy Scott Mantz, who you guys all know, like he's saying it's hands down the best film of the year so far. Now, granted, it's only April and there's a lot of year to still go, but still it's nice to hear how good it's being received, man. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Murray. Next up, Dinos and Diversity Rights. Ghost Ben Solo is going to impregnate Rey through the Force. I doubt that. Say somehow Luke is back. Somehow Luke is back. Man, I'll tell you what. I know we've all said it a million times. I know it's been the subject of the punchline of a lot of jokes. But have there been many dumber things than the start of The Rise of Skywalker in the opening crawl just saying, somehow the Emperor has returned? Really? That's how you're going to play this? That is how we're going to address the massive question about how on earth are you bringing Palpatine back? And your answer is somehow. It is one of the craziest things. I can't believe they got away with it. Like, I can't believe there wasn't somebody in the Lucasfilm boardroom that didn't raise a hand and go, point of order. Are we married to this, somehow the Emperor has returned line? It just seems to me that maybe the fans want a little bit more of an explanation how the dead Emperor is like now back. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we address it a little bit more than somehow. I can't believe nobody, I can't believe nobody has ever picked up on that. I just can't believe it. Oh, well, anyway. By the way, I got some people saying that the audio is going out and that the audio is cutting. Everything looks good on my end. They're saying the audio is being choppy. Everything looks good on my end. Let me see if I can mute. All right. And now I'm back and I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if the audio does any better moving forward. Okay. Now people are now saying it's all good. Audio's fine. It's fine. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you guys. All right. Let's keep moving on here now. Next up, we've got Edgar G, who tips in like $20. Thank you, Edgar. Appreciate that, man. And Edgar writes in, hey, John and team. First time tipping. Good to have you here, Edgar. Thank you for that. Long-time listener. With Shazam 2 coming out just a couple of weeks ago, I got to thinking of past Zachary Levi films, and I forgot that he voiced Flynn in Tangled. I love that movie, and Zach can sing. Y'all are awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. Yes, he was the voice in Tangled, and I remember everybody was so excited about that. And I remember when that movie came out, everybody made a big deal about. And as a matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but did Zach Levi not himself perform the song at the Oscars that year? Did he not himself perform the song at the Oscars that year? I thought he did. Anyway, and a lot of people, listen, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with the floppage of Shazam 2. By the way, worldwide, the Mario Brothers has made nearly triple in 5 days. The Mario Brothers has made nearly triple what the entire theatrical run of Shazam 2 has made so far. I'll say it again. In 5 days, the Super Mario movie has made nearly triple what the entire theatrical run of Shazam 2 has made. Just puts in perspective. But listen, so I know he takes a lot of heat and whatever, but I don't care what Amy says. I have met and spoken with Zachary Levi a couple times. That is a really awesome guy. Like, he's a really awesome dude. And it's funny to me that a couple of what I think are some of the best quality people in Hollywood are the ones who take a lot of, probably the most crap. Zach Levi, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is just like, hands down, the single nicest, kindest, funniest dude that I've had the pleasure of meeting in this business. He's just simply the best. He's great. And a lot of people give him crap. Zach Levi, totally top-notch dude. I'd be hard pressed to come up with many people who I have straight up enjoyed and have been as impressed by as much as those two guys. I mean, yeah, they're just tremendous. All right. Thanks a lot for that, Edgar. And thanks for supporting us on that level, man. Appreciate that very much. Okay. Next up, we've got Reggie Phoenix, who writes, Succession just never ceases to amaze me. I'm writing this after watching episode 3. Thoughts on the season so far? I have not watched the season yet. I really like Succession a lot, but I have not been able to start on this season yet. And I have heard what happened in episode 3. It was, I saw that, hey, big spoiler for episode 3, and I went and decided I wanted to read it anyway. So I know what happens in episode 3, but I have not had a chance to watch this season of Succession yet. But it's like one of the top. Most people think Succession is the best show on TV right now. Like, I think Last of Us surpassed it. Yeah, that's just me. I think Last of Us surpassed it, but it's incredible. My wife has watched the first couple of episodes of Succession this season, and she's loving it so far. So I haven't got caught up yet, Reggie. I haven't got caught up yet, but I plan on it very soon. All right. Next up. Let's see here. We got Jake G, who writes, I got tickets to see the Return of the King extended edition in theaters this coming Thursday. That's very exciting, actually. My favorite movie of all time, 4 hours and 10 minutes of greatness, which honestly sounds like Ray's worst nightmare. Yeah, Ray wouldn't even go. Like, there's nothing I would be able to do. If I got tickets for all of us to go see Return of the King, Ray just straight up, he would come up with an excuse. He would go, I'm not feeling good, John. He would just skip it. Listen. I do not think that Lord of the Rings Return of the King is the greatest movie of all time. But some of you who followed me for a long time, you probably heard me say this. I believe it is the single greatest achievement in filmmaking of all time. Like, when you put together all of the various disciplines that go into making a film, hair, makeup, costume design, cinematography, writing, directing, acting, music, production design, like all that kind of stuff. Lord of the Rings Return of the King is a singular triumph. It is a singular triumph. And it is tied for the record of most Oscar wins of all time. No film in history has ever won as many Academy Awards as Lord of the Rings Return of the King has. It won 11. And it's the only film in history to be nominated for over 10 Academy Awards and win in every single category it was nominated for. Lord of the Rings Return of the King was nominated for 11 Academy Awards, and it won 11. If they announced a nomination for Lord of the Rings Return of the King that year, it won. Every single one. It swept the deck. It is an incredible achievement and one of the single greatest movie watching experiences you can have, I think. All right. Next up, we've got Calum writes, Hey, John and crew, Succession episode 3 might go down as one of the best episodes of TV in years and most likely the best of this year. Have you guys seen the recent episode? Again, I have not seen the recent episode, but I did hear about what happened in it, and I'm very looking forward to getting caught up. But I haven't gotten there yet, Jake, or Calum, I should say. So I will get myself caught up. All right, next up, A. Marcellus writes, I was watching the Jedi Survivor panel at the recent Star Wars Celebration. Cameron Monaghan is so wholesome with the fans. We may have lost Luke Skywalker, but we gained Cal Kestis. I know Cal probably has to die, but I don't want him to. I see a lot of Luke in him, and it would hurt. Yeah, I mean, Cal... Jedi Fallen Order kind of came out and kind of caught the world by surprise, because when they first talked about it, it was like, okay, another Star Wars game, right? And a lot of us get excited at the announcement of any Star Wars game, but there was something about this one. And then that one big long video with the big long game footage came out, and a lot of us were like, oh, wow, this looks like pretty cool. And then the story was just fantastic. For a video game, for a Star Wars video game, the story was really quite fantastic, and Cal's a great character. I don't know how they say he survives to the modern era, though. But I mean, listen, for 40 years, all the Jedi were gone except for Luke. And then now with every single Star Wars story that comes out, whether it's fan fiction or something right out of Lucasfilm, oh, it turns out there were 85 other Jedis still running around out there. So, hey, if they can do that, they can figure out a way for Cal to still be around, I think. They can figure it out. They can figure it out. All right, thanks a lot for that, A. Marcellus. Next up, we got Anonymous who writes, I don't know if you remember, but there was an episode that started with all of you guys uncontrollably laughing for a couple of minutes. Oh yeah, that was like a week ago or something, because of something Ray said, and he never got the chance to repeat it. Can I ask Ray what the joke was if he recalls? Oh, I recall what it is, and I'm not going to repeat it. Why? Because I like not getting my channel canceled. Every once in a while, Ray will just say something just to get a reaction out of us. And that day, he just happened to say something like 10 seconds before the cameras started rolling. And we just could not stop laughing before the show started. But nope, I will tell you right now that I am not ever going to repeat what that was. No, sir, not going to do it. All right. Charlie Zakari writes, adore your faces. Oh, thank you. Based on what's been shared, over or under 35%, the new Star Wars movie, Retcon Rise of Skywalker. I'll do better than 35%. Zero. Star Wars does not retcon. They will retcon details, right? I don't ever recall owning a droid. They will retcon details, but the canon, even though they don't treat canon like canon anymore, to them, canon still is important. They will never retcon an entire movie. They just won't do it. Some details here, a detail there, that can happen, but like retconning a movie, 100%, it's 0%. 30% of the time, it works every time. 100% that it's 0%. They will not retcon Rise of Skywalker. And listen, as someone who hates that movie, they shouldn't retcon it. It happened. It is what it is. That movie is. It just is. And it doesn't matter that I don't like it, and it doesn't matter that I hate it. It still is. Because if you go running around, start retconning like movies and stuff like that, then where do you stop? Right? And I know that sounds like a, what's the phrase I'm looking for? A slippery slope argument. I know that sounds like a slippery slope argument. And to be fair, to a degree, it is a slippery slope argument. But once you do that, then what happens? If you get enough people online crying enough, I didn't like this movie, retcon it, because I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. So pretend it didn't happen. Just get rid of it. I mean, listen, we as film fans, and I include myself in this, and everybody watching this, like, let's be big enough to admit this. We as film fans, particularly we as Star Wars fans, can be a bunch of whiny little susses, right? We really can. And you just know that if they retcon one, then that's going to be it. Like I remember, it's already started, right? Like film fans, we are such an entitled, snotty little bunch of babies that like the moment something in a movie happens, or even a movie that hasn't even come out yet, and they find out detail, now we are so fucking entitled. Like we're so entitled that we're like everything now has online petitions. What's the name of the site? What's the name of the site again where you can go to start a petition? I can't remember what the name of that is. There's kind of like a standard site where you can go to start petitions. If anybody in the live chat knows what the name of that one is, change.org. Thank you. Charles was the first one to put that in. Like every fucking thing. Now it's like, oh, they cast this one person in the 9th highest important role in a movie. I don't like this person. Let's start a petition, because every fucking film fan today is like, it's about me. It's about me, right? And listen, we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. We can be insufferable. And if Star Wars retcons one movie, even if it's a movie that I personally hate, and I do hate that movie, the moment they retcon one, every time you get somebody and their 4 little basement dwelling buddies that don't like a movie, retcon that movie, retcon it. We demand, the fans demand you retcon. Oh, we would, if you think we're insufferable now, we as a group of film fans, it would be unbearable what we would become. Completely unbearable. So anyway, yeah, no, 0% that they retcon Rise of Skywalker. Again, maybe a couple of details, which they have done already before, but like just saying, pretending that movie doesn't exist, they won't do it. They won't do it. All right, next up. Maggie J writes, more people need to be talking about Yellowjackets. This new season has been amazing so far. The ending of episode 2 will live rent-free in my head forever, and I ain't mad. You know what? I have not, much like Succession, I have not watched any of season 2 yet for Yellowjackets. I quite enjoyed season 1. I think it's a really creative, imaginative kind of series. I worry a little bit about how it's going to resolve, because all this is great, but I hope we don't get a Lost kind of ending, right? Where like the whole show and all the setup with Lost was just brilliant and imaginative. And then when they finally got to the payoff, when they finally got to the resolution, it was like a lot of people were like, huh, that's it, huh? That's what all this was. That's what all this is about. And I really hope that doesn't happen to Yellowjackets. I have no reason to believe that it is. But I am looking forward to watching Yellowjackets season 2. I just haven't gotten around to it. You know what? Another season from on Epix. From season 1, I know hardly any of you guys watched it. It's really good. But that's another one where it's setting up this incredible thing. It's like, what is keeping them all there? And what is killing them when they leave the door open? I hope that the resolution doesn't suck, but I got the same kind of little bit of a fear for that as Yellowjackets. All right. Thanks for that, Maggie. Next up, Stubborn McShave writes, I think there's huge potential in doing classic Star Wars, or doing stories as Star Wars one-shots. They could do something like Ivanhoe with a Star Wars skin, or Hamlet set in the Jedi Temple. They could even have a Force ghost instead of a ghost. There are dozens of IPs in public domain. We were talking about that on the John Campea Show a little bit earlier today, about the fact that, you know, somebody wrote in or called in on the hotline. They called in and asked, you know, what should Star Wars focus more on sagas and trilogies, or should they focus on one-shots? And I was like, the answer is the same as it is in comic book movies. Neither. They should do both. It's not an either or. It should be a both and. It should 100% be a both and situation. And I really hope, and you're right, they could take all types of classic motifs and subgenres and classic tales and put them in a Star Wars kind of container if you want. There's a lot of interesting things you could do with that with one-shots, but also don't abandon the idea of the sagas or new trilogies or things like that. So I think you can do both. All right, thanks a lot for that, Stubble. Next up, we got Cockroach77, who writes, hey, John, are you keeping up with Succession at all? Again, not yet. Last night's episode, April 9th, was truly one of the best hours of TV I've seen in a long time. Just masterful storytelling and character moments. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've seen it. Again, I have not seen it yet. I have heard what happens. I am very anxious to get caught up. Thankfully, I'm only like 3 episodes behind now, so I can get caught up in an evening. But I got a few other things. I got to get caught up on Picard. I got to get caught up on, I got to get out and see Air. I got to watch, and then I try to get caught up on these 3 episodes. So fingers crossed, but I'm hearing everybody saying it was fantastic, Cockroach. All right. Patrick writes, have you seen the Netflix show Beef? This series shows how good Steven Yeun is as an actor, and can't wait to see what he brings to the Marvel universe. No, but Ann and I both want to watch it because it also stars Ali Wong, and I really like Ali Wong. As a matter of fact, Ann and our buddy Tommy just went to go see Ali Wong live doing stand-up in Riverside, California, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And she had a movie on Netflix with Randall Park called Always Be My Maybe that I loved. I don't love a lot of Netflix original movies, but Always Be My Maybe was really, really good. So we saw the trailer for Beef, and you know, it's got a little bit of that Ben Affleck, Samuel L. Jackson Changing Lanes. Do you guys remember that movie? It's a fabulous movie if you haven't seen it. But Samuel Jackson, Ben Affleck did a movie a bunch of years ago called Changing Lanes. And Beef kind of has that same kind of, it's got that same kind of feel to it, but with a little bit more comedy. Because the Samuel Jackson, Ben Affleck movie was not a comedy. But this one feels like Changing Lanes, but also has some laughs and comedy in at the same time. So with Ali Wong, Steven Yeun, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. All right. Next up, but I haven't watched it yet, Patrick. Okay. Tavita Mafi writes, hey, John and crew, here we go, more Succession. Succession episode 3 of the 4th season was a heartbreaking episode. What are your thoughts about the most recent episode? Again, I have not started watching season 3 yet. I am now officially 3 episodes behind. I will get caught up here sometime this week. But it sounds, from what I understand about it, it sounds pretty great. It sounds pretty great, Tavita. All right, next up. Anonymous writes, Izzy should be known as Jedi Master Izzy. The way he put that punch right over the shoulder of Alex was masterful. Incredible KO. It was a really good KO, but let's not forget that is the first time Izzy has beaten Alex in 4 fights. Alex beat him 3 times already. So, and by the way, I'm a big fan of Stylebender. I'm a big fan of Stylebender. Really big fan. I love watching that guy fight. Super entertaining fighter. But like, let's hold off on the whole anointing everything. It is the first time that he's beaten Alex, and Alex has beaten him 3 times, and Alex was winning that fight. Now, granted, in all the other fights, Alex was Izzy was winning the fight all 3 other times, and then out of nowhere, Alex would win. Kind of the opposite happens this time. Izzy was losing that fight. Alex was kind of controlling that fight, and then out of nowhere, boom, perfectly placed shot, knocks him out cold. It was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty. But I think they got to run it again. I really do. I think they have to run it back again. All right. Anonymous writes, Revan and Bastilia are incredible Star Wars characters who I would love to see a film based on. Maybe. See, here's the thing, though, that I think a lot of Star Wars fans, particularly fans of the extended material, I'm not talking about the extended universe, I mean the extended material, is that among Star Wars fans, and I know this rubs people the wrong way, but it's true. Maybe 10% of people who would count themselves as Star Wars fans know anything about extended material. I think maybe 1 in 10 of people who would consider themselves Star Wars fans know who Cal is, or know who Revan is, or know who Starkiller is, or know who Mara Jade is, or know who, whatever and whoever. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there could be something really good there to do. I mean, they did bring in like a Cad Bane that nobody knew who he was, and they were doing a really good job with him right up to the point that they killed him. But we'll see. We'll see. A lot of potential there. All right. Next up, we have, I went too far, I think. We have another anonymous who writes, it's very hard for a rational fan not to take it personally against KK if it feels like she is taking jabs at us. I know it's just a silly movie and I can turn the dial, but me, hold on a second. Okay, sorry. Let me try this from the start again. It's very hard for a rational fan not to take it personally against it. No, I think you have to be kind of irrational to take it personally. Somebody who makes movies, doesn't know you and you don't know them, to take anything personally about a movie that's a stretch. At any rate, against KK, feels like she's taking jabs at us. I can assure you she's not taking jabs at you. I know it's just a silly movie. And I can turn the dial, but me and Star Wars are like in a bad relationship and she keeps cheating on us. Hey, listen, look, I have been saying for 3 years, I've been saying for no less than 3 years that Kathleen Kennedy needs to move on. Like, it was a worthwhile experiment. I totally understand why George Lucas picked her to run the company. On paper, she was a great choice. But lots of things on paper can look like a good choice and have it not work out. And Kathleen Kennedy, who is one of the greatest producers in the history of Hollywood, Steven Spielberg thinks she is the greatest filmmaker of all time, says she's the greatest producer of all time. So I'll take Steven Spielberg's opinion of who's a good producer and who isn't over mine or yours or anybody's. But the problem is being a producer and being the head of a studio are two different things. Those are two different things. And she has not, and I have a lot of respect for Kathleen Kennedy. Everybody knows I have a lot of respect for her, but it has not worked. And that's why I've been saying for years that she needs to go. However, and I know you're not saying this, Anonymous, I know you're not saying this at all. So this is not pointed at you because I know this isn't what you're saying. But I mean, you have to be a special kind of stupid to think that she hasn't been trying. Like, she has been doing what she thought would work, hoped would work, all this kind of stuff. She would bring people on with that she hasn't properly vetted, maybe thinking that she vetted them enough, all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to take it away from her effort or how much she's put into it, how much passion she's put on. She's wanted it to work. But the reality is, if you're not a good fit for something and you're in a role that just doesn't fit the skills that you have, it doesn't matter how hard you try. It's at the end of the day not going to work. And I think for a number of years now, it's been clear that it's not worked with Kathleen Kennedy being the head of the studio. It just hasn't worked. Now, you may disagree, and that's cool. I got no problems if you disagree. That's cool. For me, it has not worked. But even though I've been saying for a number of years that she needs to move on, it'd be best for her and for Star Wars and for the fandom and all that kind of stuff if she moved on, I've never once, and nor do I think any of us as fans, if we're being rational, should say, oh, she insulted. Like, look, if you're going to be insulted because she had the audacity to put a woman in a lead role, then that problem's a you problem, not a Kathleen Kennedy or anybody else problem. But even people like me who realize she was not the right fit and all that kind of stuff, I can still acknowledge, look, I'm sure she gave it her best try. I'm sure she wanted it to work out great. I'm sure of all those things, but it hasn't worked. Like, I can get in the ring tomorrow if I wanted to against, I don't know, pick a fighter, Conor McGregor. I can get in the ring tomorrow with Conor McGregor. And I can have all the best intentions. I really want to go in there and I really want to do well. I want to do well. I want to put on a good show and I want to, give a great show to the fans and I want to come out victorious. And I'm going to give it everything I got. I can do all that. But the fact of the matter is I'm going to be asleep in about 15 seconds. Conor McGregor is going to hit me with a jab, perfectly placed on the bridge of my nose somewhere probably, and he's going to put my lights out. And it doesn't matter what my intentions were. It doesn't matter that I wanted to do a good job. It doesn't matter that I tried my best. I mean, your best. Anybody know the rest of that line? It doesn't matter that I tried my best. I do not have the tools or the right skill sets to step into the ring with a Conor McGregor and last more than 15 seconds. It just ain't going to happen, no matter my intentions. I think Kathleen Kennedy had the best of intentions. I think she wanted to make Star Wars something special for everybody. I think she wanted to open up the doors to bring in new fans. I think she wanted to make it more inclusive. I think she wanted to give something thrilling and exciting to the audience, but she just didn't have the tools as the head of a studio to make it happen. And that's why I think she needs to go. But again, I don't understand fans who then make it personal, right? They make it personal. And I'm not talking about the fans who say a whole bunch of misogynistic and racist shit, and they get mad when somebody calls them on their misogynistic and racist shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, hey, she tried, it didn't work, time to move on. And let's go on to something hopefully that's better. Anyway, that's just kind of my take on it. All right. Next up, Wicked Man writes, have you heard of the UFC fighter Ilia Topuria? You know what? I'm not familiar with Ilia. I know another fighter named Ilia, but I'm not sure with that one. In the 145-pound division, but which, by the way, is a completely stacked division right now. I think he will become the champion in the future. I'll be honest with you, Wicked Man, I'm not really familiar with him, unless I have seen him and I'm just not remembering him, but I don't recall him off the top of my head. All right, guys, that will wrap it up for all of the tip questions you guys sent in. Now, if you've sent in a question in the last couple of like 2 hours or so and you didn't see it red, don't worry about it. It's probably all lined up for tomorrow's John Campea show, so don't worry about that. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to take a break and hear from a couple of the sponsors of our video here today. And then once we do, we're going to come back and I'm going to get over to the super chat questions that you guys have been firing in since we started the show. I opened up the super chats just before the show opened. You guys have been firing in. By the way, Charles Edmund Nelson, you're right. It was the Sean Connery from The Rock. Well done, sir. And we will come back and get to those questions. So for now, let's hear from a couple of sponsors of our show, our friends at Mint Mobile and Fume. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know I made the switch over to Mint Mobile a while ago. The process couldn't have been easier, and I can't believe that I am spending less than a third of what I was spending on one of the other major carriers before. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Guys, we want to take a minute and thank the sponsor of today's video, Fume. Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but to break your habits. We're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor or putting Vaseline on your feet. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a just remove the bad from your habit. And Fume is an innovative, award-winning device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fumes is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all-natural airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. When I first got my Fume, I couldn't believe how beautiful the design was. It's perfectly weighted, and when I breathed it in the first time, I was blown away by just how fresh it tasted. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use the code Campea to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use the code Campea to save an additional 10% off your order today. And thank you to our friends at Fume and, of course, my mobile service provider, Mint Mobile, for sponsoring this episode of our show. All right, guys. With all that down, let's now get over and get on to the questions that you guys have sent in via Super Chat. I'll see if I can get this thing all set up here. And it looks like we've got it set up. Okay, we're going to start off here with Bailey Fuller, who writes, can't believe we are a quarter of the way through the 2023. That's saying my top 3 movies so far are 3, A Man Called Otto, 2, Missing, 1, Rye Lane. I have not seen Rye Lane. A Man Called Otto was one I was avoiding because I didn't hear good things about it at first, and I really like Tom Hanks, so I didn't want to watch it and get disappointed. But then I had a bunch of you guys tell me that it was actually quite good, and so I decided, okay, yeah, let me give it a shot. Let me give it a shot. And I gave it a shot, and I really kind of like Missing. Was also really good too. All right, next up. Dr. Stinky writes, sorry I haven't super chatted, still here every day. Dude, it doesn't matter if you super chat or not. We're just glad that you're here, man. I appreciate it. All right, next up. Future Millionaire writes, hey, John, fun fact. I worked UFC 287. Nice. I was one of 12 men who walked with the fighters to the octagon. Nice. As far as security, I'm the one with the black hat. Well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice, but that's a pretty cool gig. By the way, where was 287? Was that one in Vegas? Was that one in Vegas? I hope so. If so, you're going to have to tell me how you got that gig, because that's pretty cool, future millionaire. All right. Next up, I'd love to do that sometime. Daniel Vakura writes, from all the footage shown at Celebration, I thought Vision Season 2 was the best by far. That includes Andor, the extended Ahsoka footage, The Acolyte. The Acolyte is still my most anticipated new Star Wars show. Everybody's saying that event was in Miami. Good to know. Oh, yeah, that makes sense because Masvidal, right? Masvidal's a Miami guy, so that made sense that his final fight was there. Acolyte is still my most anticipated thing. I mean, Ahsoka jumped way up there because of that trailer. The trailer was great. But just right from the first time they told us the concept of the Acolyte, I got excited for that show. And then they've added some absolutely terrific talent. And I haven't seen the Acolyte trailer yet. I still haven't even seen the Acolyte trailer. But that is, I'm with you, Daniel, on that. That is still easily my most anticipated Star Wars project coming up. I'm really, really quite stoked about that. All right, next up. Daniel Vakura also writes, my top 2 films this year, Air and Rye Lane on Hulu. I've seen Air in the theaters twice now. Nice. I'll be seeing Return to Seoul this week. I've heard How to Blow Up a Pipeline is a great thriller. I'm not familiar with How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Is that like a Hulu series? Is that a streaming movie? Is that a movie going in? Maybe I know it by something else. I'm not quite familiar with that on this one. Look, here's the thing though. Bottom line is this year, we're only in April. I think this year is already a really good movie year. And I'm not talking about the stuff that we haven't seen yet. I'm talking about the stuff that's already come out. I think this year has been a just terrific movie year already. I mean, because a lot of times there have been many years that we've gotten to like May, June, July and gone, this year hasn't been all that great. And then the second half of the year gets really good. But I think this has been a really good year. And somebody in the live chat there, Michael Gonzalez, said TV too. Yeah, television's been great this year. This has been a really, really great year so far. I think it's so good, especially after all the COVID crap that we've been through and how that's affected the industry and all that kind of stuff. I am very, very happy. Very, very happy. All right. Let me just double check our status here. Okay. Next up, we've got Marley Villasenor, who writes, do you take Super Mario's biggest opening weekend for an animated film seriously? 5 days is a long weekend and Frozen 2 did not have that luxury. No. Okay, look. The 5-day does not count as its opening weekend. Officially, Super Mario Brothers opening weekend is $143 million. Let me just double check that. Let's see. Oh, wrong. There we go. Hold on a second. So Super Mario Bros. Box office. So yes, the official opening weekend, come on, for Super Mario Brothers is indeed $146 million. That is the official opening weekend, $146 million. That counts the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That does not count the Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, I should say. It'll count the Thursday midnight because all movies do, or the Thursday early screens, like 7 p.m., stuff like that. But the official opening weekend for Super Mario Brothers is 143 or 146. And that 146 is good enough to be the second biggest opening for an animated film. So yeah, it does not count the full 5 days. All right. Let's be very, very clear about that. It does not count the full 5 days. It only counts that weekend. So yes, you can take that weekend record seriously because it's only counting the weekend, not the previous extra days. Good question. Very good question. But that's why, yes, you can take it seriously. All right. Next up, we have My Comic Planet writes, I've been absolutely loving the Netflix show Beef. You're the second person to write in today, say it's been really good. Have you seen it yet, John? No. A24 really knocked it out of the park with this. No, but Steven Yeun, Ali Wong, again, it looks like a Ben Affleck, Samuel L. Jackson changing lanes with a little bit of comedy. It looks great to me. It is one of those shows, though, because Anne is such a big fan of Ali Wong that I cannot watch it without Anne also. So hopefully this week sometime I'm going to be able to start watching it. But yeah, cannot watch it yet. Can't watch it yet. All right, until I can sit down with Ann to watch it too. But I'm hearing, again, you're the second person to write in, and I've heard from a friend of mine too that absolutely loves it. That says really, really great. All right, Daniel Vakura writes, the weekend of April 28th is an incredibly stacked weekend of media. Sweet Tooth Season 2 drops on the 27th. Then Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Beau is Afraid, Peter Pan and Wendy, Sisu. By the way, I'm really excited about Sisu, which looks fantastic with a prospector killing Nazis who tries to steal his gold with early great reviews, and Jedi Survivor come out on the 28th. I'm not going to lie to you, Daniel. A number of those things I'm not all that excited about. I'm not all that excited about Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I'm not super excited about Beau is Afraid. And look, the people who are involved are top-notch, great director, great lead actor, Academy Award winners, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to be shocked at all to find out that it's fantastic. But the trailer was, I'm going to call it what, the trailer was not good. It's not a good trailer. If you put out that same trailer, but it was with different actors you didn't recognize, and you didn't say it was being directed by Wes Anderson, nobody would be talking about that trailer. And that's really the test of a good trailer. I don't think the trailer was very good. That's just me. Also, I think I'm in the minority on this. I'm not really, I did not like Sweet Tooth. I did not think Sweet Tooth was all that good. I know a lot of people really like it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit surprised how many people do like it, but a lot of people do like it. I did not, I didn't like it all that much. But there are certainly some things like Sisu I'm dying to see. Cannot wait to see that. That is going to be really, really good. Some people mentioned that I missed My Comic Planet's second question. So let me get over to that now. My Comic Planet wrote in, I've been hearing news that Marvel is moving on from Jonathan Majors after not seeing him in the latest Ant-Man digital release. You see that? I don't know I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true that is. Look, I do know this. Everybody's going to say innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, absolutely. But if you are a company, the drama surrounding Jonathan Majors, let's assume for a moment, okay? Let's assume for a moment that Jonathan Majors is 100% innocent of everything of all the charges against him. Let's assume that for a moment, okay? Even if that's true, until charges get dropped, because the charges against him haven't been dropped yet, until the charges get dropped, there is baggage that is going around with him now. And if he's completely innocent, let's assume he is for a moment, that really sucks for him. That 100% sucks for him. But if you're Disney, that's not your problem. Right? That's not your problem. Because even if it's through no fault of Jonathan Majors at all, right now Jonathan Majors has baggage going around with him. And if you're Disney, that's not your fault and it's not your problem. Your responsibility, if you're Disney or any other studio, is to do what is in the best interests of your property. Your property is not there to help Jonathan Majors. Your property is not there to help anybody. Your responsibility is to do what is best for your properties. And as long as Jonathan Majors has this baggage around him, even if it's through no fault of his own, if you're Disney, you're like, that's not my problem and I can't be associated with that baggage. And we hope that baggage gets cleared up, and we hope Jonathan Majors is able to get right back on track with his career and all that kind of stuff. But if you're Disney, that's not your problem. If you're Warner Brothers, that's not your problem. If you're Universal, that's not your problem. You're going to have to make decisions based on what's best for your property. And what's best for your property might be to move on to a new actor. And then maybe once everything gets cleared up with Jonathan Majors, work with him again on other movies. Give him another role for something else. I don't know. But yeah, you got this. And if Disney decides not to work with him anymore and these are big ifs, if Disney decides not to work with him anymore in the role of Kang, That's not Disney convicting him or saying he's guilty. It's just that, hey man, right now you've got drama going on in your life and we feel bad for you because it's not your fault. If it isn't his fault, it's not your fault, but we can't let your drama get associated with our brand. We just can't do it. And I'm sure Jonathan Majors understands that too. But listen, I don't particularly believe that rumor that you're bringing up. I don't, John Salvi, Disney has a major problem. I don't particularly believe that rumor right now. I think, listen, Disney right now knows they have a lot of time, right? It's not like another movie is about to come out with Kang the Conqueror in it. It's not like they're about to start shooting the next thing with Jonathan Majors. They've got time. So Disney can afford right now to kind of just sit back, stay quiet on the whole thing, and let the process work itself out. And then hopefully things will work out for Jonathan Majors. And if it does, then Disney can just keep moving forward like nothing happened. So, I mean, I don't know what Disney's going to do, but I have a feeling. I'm just taking a guess. It's just a guess. I'm taking a guess that Disney realizes they have time, so they're just not going to do anything right now and kind of let the process play itself out a little bit. At least, again, that's my guess. That's my guess. All right. Next up, we did Daniel Vakura. Next up, we got Mr. Hank Dunn, who writes, I know it got buried by the news of him writing and directing Star Wars movie, but Gunn confirmed that Mangold is also going to write Swamp Thing. Yeah, I remember there was talk about that a while ago. We actually talked about that on the show like weeks ago, I think. That looks like James Mangold is going to be doing Swamp Thing, and James Mangold got on social media and confirmed it himself a few weeks ago. So James Mangold is keeping himself busy, man. He's done what is now a Marvel movie with Logan. I mean, it was Fox at the time, but now it's Marvel. He's done a Marvel movie with Logan. He's about to do a Star Wars movie. He's done an Indiana Jones thing, and he's doing a DC thing. How many directors have knocked that quad crown out? I've done Marvel, I've done DC, I've done Indie, and I've done Star Wars. I mean, what's missing? I don't know, a Harry Potter? I mean, not a lot of people get to claim that sort of stuff, Hank. He's kind of on a roll right now. All right. And oh, guys, and that'll do it. I turned off the super chats a bit ago. That'll do it for this installment of Open Mic, guys. Thank you so much for being here and joining us for this entire day here on the John Campea YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us for the John Campea Show earlier and now Open Mic right now. Don't forget the John Campea Show returns again tomorrow morning. We hope you come back and join us. Don't forget, guys, if you have a question that you'd like to see on the John Campea Show tomorrow, go ahead and start firing in your comments, observations, or questions right now to streamelements.com/John Campea/tip, and you'll see it on the show tomorrow if we deem your comment or question to be appropriate to be used on the show, of course. So yeah, guys, that'll do it for me for now. Have a fabulous rest of your day. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.